Ooh. Always the to start. I disappeared again, didn't I? Which means, of course, that I fell off my attempt to stick to raw food and take care of myself and become fit and healthy. And yeah, I gained weight again. In fact, probably since the last video I posted, I think I've got a couple backed up on my iPad. But the last video that I posted, I was doing really, really well, having done a hypnosis course and blah, blah, blah. But life went and happened, as it has a habit of doing. And I just failed to keep it up. I was going to say I couldn't keep it up. I could have done if I had made more effort and been more organised. But organised is not my forte. It never has been. And yeah, it's just when you're dealing with raw, fresh food, it's awkward and difficult because, you know, you can't carry a fridge around on your back. And I've done a lot of travelling over the summer. You would think summer would be the time to stick to a raw food diet, and really it should be. And, you know, to a certain extent it's easy, but also there are aspects of it that make it very difficult for me, and I'm not gonna like go through them. My lovely friend Jeanette would tell me it's raw vegan excuses, and yeah, to a degree it is. But you know, sometimes excuses are valid. And clearly I just didn't want to deal with the inconvenience and the difficulties and the struggles and the this, that and the other, while also dealing with what actually has been quite stressful one way or another. I won't go into details because it involves other people, and it's not really fair to put the blame on people and you know and discuss their issues online. It's not anyway. But yeah, so anyway, I kind of failed to have my raw summer. And not only did I fail to do that, but I failed to revert to any kind of healthy diet at all. So I've had on and off a junk food summer. Junk food vegan, always vegan, but there's been a lot of junk food, a lot of convenience food, a lot of bread, which is my nemesis. Amongst many attempts to be healthier, to eat better. So, you know, I didn't throw in the towel altogether at any point, really. It's just that each time I travelled, I gave up trying. Told myself I couldn't. And to a certain degree, I couldn't. Motorway service stations really don't allow a vegan to eat healthily. They just don't. They barely allow a vegan to eat at all. So yeah, literally, there's hardly anything in motorway service stations. There are things like, you know, Burger King Whopper burgers, or veggie burgers or vegan burgers, and there are, you know, Greggs fucking sausage rolls and yeah, nothing. There's hardly anything. Samosas at Marks and Spencer's, Waitrose, which you would think would be amazing, is not. And also, you know, despite having these supermarket companies there, none of them at service stations actually sells fresh fruit and vegetables. So, you know, there's no chance. There was the odd time that I travelled and actually took stuff with me, but given that I was never home long enough to get into the swing of doing things, and I didn't practice living without my Vitamix and, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, completely fucked up the summer. But I'm making a video now because I am about a week into eating whole food, plant-based, and have been doing really well, living quite simply on whole foods. I'm used to cooking that way, so when I'm cooking for myself and don't have to take anyone else into account, like my lovely daughter with her ARFID issues, which give me an excuse not to stick to things. When I'm just cooking for myself, I can do a really amazing job. I can do an amazing job of sticking to raw food, actually, but the weather has taken a horrible turn for the worse. I am struggling with quite a lot of depression at the moment, and feel like I need my food to give me a certain amount of dopamine, which raw food does not. It doesn't really, unless I incorporate a whole load of fat, and I think it's probably healthier for me to eat whole food, plant-based, with potatoes and, you know, high quantity of vegetable chilies and curries and potatoes. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm about a week in. I'm feeling really very positive about it. I'm apprehensive of what will happen at that, you know, the 10 days to 2 weeks mark. The point in life when my brain says to me, yay, I can do this forever, is traditionally the time at which I plummet into into a pot of vegan Ben & Jerry's or something like that. You know, it's like just when I think I've got it licked is when I struggle with cravings and shit. So we'll just see what happens, but my intention is to I've been binge watching Amy, Broccoli Mum, and a bit of Chelsea McCullen. Chelsea's great for you know, 5 ways to do this and 7 ways to do that, and, you know, the 11 principles of this, that and the other. She's really great for habit building advice and, you know, all of that. Amy is fantastic for Broccoli Mum. She's fantastic for you know, inventive recipes and ways to, really quite simple ways actually, to feel like you're having a treat. So, and it's much to me, it's much easier to satisfy those kinds of cravings on a whole food plant-based diet than it is on a raw one. Like I said, the raw ones, you know, if I'm trying to treat myself, it starts to incorporate quite a lot of fat, and although there are some raw vegan guru types that say fat's not an issue, you know, just keep it raw and you'll be fine. Fat, absolutely. Obviously you need some, but high fat sauces and that kind of thing actually make me feel rubbish. They make me feel heavy and tired and like things are not working, like I'm not making progress, like I'm not becoming more healthy. And I really, although weight loss is like important to me, it kind of, that losing weight will satisfy the like part of my brain that wants to achieve and wants to feel better. Actually, consciously, my goals are around health and longevity and mobility, and because all of those things have felt like they were suffering with the amount of weight that I have been carrying around with me on and off for the last, 30 years? Yeah. So at the moment I am concentrating very heavily on whole food, plant-based. I still have the odd smoothie for breakfast. I still am more than happy to eat a giant salad if I fancy it, which I do, and I'm trying to incorporate at least one big salad portion a day, but I'm concentrating on also getting starches for calories, starches for energy, and a high proportion of my plate to be vegetables, and I'm happy for them to be steamed and roasted veg. So yeah, I'm going to go now because I've got company.